Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I think I know what Taylor Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel after 1923 is about. I think I know what Taylor Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel could be about after 1923 Season 2. Jacob, Harrison Ford, and Cara Dutton's Helen Mirren family face a grave loss when Jack Dutton, Darren Mann, dies in 1923 Season 2, Episode 6. Jack meets an ill fate as the Dutton family's range war breaks out, with Banner Creighton's Jerome Flynn, men killing a key member of Jacob's family. Abandoning orders to guard his aunt, Jack's impulsive actions contributed to the list of horrible things that happened to Elizabeth Strafford, Michelle Randolph. Meanwhile, Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklinner, is almost home, just a train ride away from Bozeman and the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. It's been enthralling to watch Spencer make it back to Montana. The same is true for Spencer's wife, and she's been amazing to watch despite the worst things happening to Alexandra Dutton, Julia Schladfer. If the couple reunites in the finale, it will be a joyous and memorable conclusion. The reunion could also set up the events of 1944, Sheridan's teased Dutton prequel, especially in the fallout of Jack Dutton's death, which leaves Liz a widow. 1944 is the next Dutton family prequel teased by Taylor Sheridan. The story would presumably follow the next generation of the Dutton family, conveniently picking up 20 years after 1923 ended. Elizabeth Strafford and Alexandra Dutton are both pregnant as 1923 Season 2's finale nears. If both mothers have their children, their offspring will be about 20 years old in 1944. That would make the next generation the perfect age to anchor the Yellowstone story. Considering Jack's fate will massively impact his wife and family, the next story could be about how that plays out down the road. There's been a lot of talk about whether John Dutton i.e.'s Kevin Costner, father, John Dutton II, Dabney Coleman, is Jack or Spencer's son. While Jack's death could have made Spencer John Dutton i.e.'s grandfather, perhaps there's another explanation, and John Dutton II could still be Elizabeth and Jack's son. After the family's range war, Elizabeth might return to Boston, eventually sending her son to live on his family's ranch as he becomes an adult. Therefore, 1944 could be about John Dutton making his way home to the Yellowstone, where he would have grown up without his father's death. While Taylor Sheridan's 1944 prequel is likely about the 1923 characters after the Prohibition era and the Great Depression, it's unlikely the actors will reprise their roles as Spencer, Alexandra, and Elizabeth, respectively. Taking place 20 years in the future, 1944 would likely recast the roles to adequately portray the time that had passed, better positioning the characters and story in time. That means, since Taylor Sheridan previously said 1923 would only have 2 seasons, 1923 Season 2 could be the last we see of Alex and Spencer's love story from Julia Schladfer and Brandon Sklinner. However, the 1923 characters could still feature in 1944. Flashbacks to the family's earlier memories are a significant part of the neo-Western franchise, helping to fill out the details of John Dutton's family in Yellowstone and James Dutton's, Tim McGraw, 1883 family. 1944 could similarly feature flashbacks to 1923's characters, featuring actors like Sklinner to paint a complete picture of what happened at the Dutton Ranch over the previous 2 decades. That way, we could get the sense of a new era for the Dutton family, while still enjoying the brilliant performances from 1923's actors, particularly Spencer. Alex has a knack for digging deep into the veins of American mythology. He doesn't just write television, he conjures legacy. With 1883, we saw the brutal origin of the Dutton family's westward journey. With 1923, he painted a portrait of resilience during a time of war, economic depression, and cultural collision. But now, fans are waiting with bated breath. What's next? Well, I think I know. Picture this, 1944. Yes, Yellowstone, 1944, a war-torn era both overseas and at home. The world is on fire, but Montana is still ranching, still breathing, still Dutton. Let's set the stage. The Great Depression has waned, but its ghost lingers. World War II rages in Europe and the Pacific. American sons are being drafted, sent to die on foreign soil, while the home front is equally strained. Gasoline is rationed, meat is scarce. Cowboys are trading horses for tractors, but not on the Yellowstone. Not yet. Spencer Dutton, the broken but battle-tested hero from 1923, is older now. Not as fierce as he once was, but wiser and haunted. He's the last of the original Duttons who remember the family's beginnings. Maybe he's married, maybe not. Either way, the ranch is no longer just a homestead. It's a stronghold, a symbol, and it's under threat. In 1944, the enemy doesn't wear a uniform. It wears a suit. Corporations are moving westward, buying up land to drill for oil and mine for copper. A new breed of tycoon arrives in Bozeman, charming and ruthless. He doesn't ride horses, he drives the Cadillac. He doesn't play poker, he plays Washington. He offers the Duttons money that would make a Rockefeller blush, but it's not enough. Because, as we know, the land means everything. Here's where it gets even more Sheridan-esque. One of the Dutton sons enlists. Maybe it's Spencer's nephew. Maybe it's his own son. Maybe it's both. Their absence leaves a hole not only in the family, but in the ranch's operations. The Yellowstone is vulnerable, and the vultures are circling. But Sheridan doesn't just write about land and blood. He writes about the in-between, the native stories, the pain America tries to forget. In 1944, we'll see more from the Broken Rock Reservation. We'll meet new characters, perhaps a young Thomas Rainwater's grandfather, a tribal elder who watches the government build dams and military bases while taking sacred land in return. There's tension, but also alliance. Maybe this time, the Duttons and the people of Broken Rock stand side by side against the true enemy, the machine of modern America. Think about the aesthetic possibilities. A dusty, war-shadowed Montana. Big band music playing on radios in the bunkhouse. Women stepping into new roles as ranchers and leaders while the men are gone. Cowboys and cattle drives coexisting with telegrams about battles in Normandy. An old Yellowstone still fighting to remain unchanged in a rapidly changing world. And then there's the conflict inside the family. Perhaps Spencer's son returns from Europe with a medal and a limp, and a new idea of the world. He's seen too much. He doesn't believe in blind loyalty. He questions the old ways, his father's ways. He wants to bring in machinery, sell off some cattle, maybe even open part of the land to developers. For hospitals, he argues, for progress. But Spencer, ever the symbol of Sheridan's rugged cowboy mythos, won't bend. He stands in the doorway of the barn like a statue, hat low, cigarette burning. This land's already paid for, in blood, he says, and it don't owe the world a damn thing. Cue the thunderstorm. Cue the horses breaking loose. Cue the classic Sheridan standoff, not just man against man, but tradition against transformation. And just like that, we have a prequel that feels both grounded in history and wildly cinematic. What I love about this idea, Yellowstone, 1944, is how it's both fresh and familiar. It gives Sheridan the perfect stage to tell stories about war, change, and sacrifice, while weaving in the threads of the family legacy we already know and obsess over. There's room for new villains, new romances, and new wounds that eventually shape the Duttons we see in Kevin Costner's Yellowstone. And we can't forget the possibility of a female lead. A Dutton woman, tough as leather, holding the ranch together while the men are gone. Think early echoes of Beth Dutton, a prototype. Sharp-tongued, smarter than the boys. Holding secrets of her own. Maybe she runs the ranch, better than any man ever could, but no one wants to admit it. Taylor Sheridan has said that Yellowstone is a story about America itself, its violence, its beauty, its contradictions. 1944 would be fertile ground for all of that. It's a year that changed the world, but we've never really seen how it changed Montana, how it changed Yellowstone, and most importantly, how it changed the Duttons. So yeah, I think I know what Sheridan's planning next. It's not just a prequel, it's a reckoning.